And welcome back to CTF Walkthroughs. I'm your host, Callie Surfer, and today I'll be demonstrating two key skills in pen testing and ethical hacking. The first key skill is subdomain enumeration. This means that we'll be scanning our host for additional subdomains running on the same server. The second key skill is identifying known vulnerabilities for software or services, and then we'll be locating an exploit, downloading that exploit, and launching an attack against the service. So without further ado, let's get right on into this box. The title is Devvortex. It comes from HackTheBox and it's rated easy for difficulty. Let's get on into it. So Nmap results, we've got SSH and HTTP. Let's go ahead and edit our etc hosts file, and we'll add in the domain name here with the IP of our target. So that's devvortex.htb for HackTheBox. We'll exit with a control WQ. We were using Vim there to edit. And we see robots.txt revealing a Joomla administrator directory on there. That's interesting. Let's see if we can access it. And no, we can't. All right, so we'll tuck that away for later. It may come in handy. Let's go to our main host. Yeah, it's given us a 404. How about just administrator? Nope, still not found. Okay, so here's our main landing page. Just double checking that administrator does not load. So curious here why it would be on robots.txt. Let's launch a subdomain enumeration attack here using GoBuster. So we're in vhost mode, that's virtual host, and we'll append the domain to, that means add it to the beginning of the address. And we're just testing here to see if we get any hits. So we can add any subdomains that we find onto our etc hosts file so that we'll be able to access those subdomains. And it found one right off the bat there, dev.devvortex. Let's add that to our etc hosts file using Vim. And I'm running in a virtual machine here of Callie on a Windows host. Here we're adding in that subdomain with the space between that and the original domain or root domain. All right, so let's run an Nmap scan on the subdomain and see what we find. We've got a few flags here. TAC PTAC for all ports, TAC T4 for speed of 4, that's on a scale of 1 to 5, and then the TAC uppercase A, I believe, is all. It runs a whole bunch of scripts to enumerate whatever it finds. So we'll let that run. Oh, it came back, and again it came back with the Joomla administrator from robots. Let's try that with the subdomain and see what happens now. So we'll add a dev prefix, and here we go. We have a login portal to a Joomla service. Let's see if there are any known vulnerabilities on this service. And there is a CVE coming up for Joomla administrator, so there is something here. Let's check GitHub and see if there are any scripts that we can easily download and launch against this service. It looks like a Privesc vulnerability. We could create an admin account, possibly. I don't know which version we have of Joomla yet. We'll have to check back and see once we get into the portal. So Privesc sounds good, but we don't even have initial access, so we might want to look for other exploits out there, something that could help us to bypass authentication, or maybe perhaps leak some admin credentials that we could use to log in with. So we'll just grab this script here by cloning the GitHub repo. Let me check that CLI path also, and nope, nothing comes up. No version information here for us to look at. So we just went ahead and cloned that Git repository. And let's check out if we can install our requirements with pipx. Because usually exploits have a few dependencies that you have to make sure you have running on your computer, running the correct version numbers as well. Pipx is a cool alternative to pip or pip3. This, I believe it spins up a virtual environment and automatically updates those dependencies to the correct versions so that you're able to run the exploit without screwing up other programs that have dependencies on your same computer. This way it isolates it. But we had an error there, so we're going to try pip3. Something failed. Something about beautiful soup, which I know is a way of stripping data out from websites. Okay, so it works. It seems that we have the dependencies installed correctly, and we need a username, so I'm not sure we'll be able to use this one because we are unauthenticated currently. We have no access. We'll give it a shot and just see what happens. Connection refused. Okay. So it tried it with a random value for the email and password. Okay, just adding on the HTTP to see if it might be a formatting issue. V for verbose. Let's put on the path administrator. It's still refusing. Let's see what else we have here. Admin account creation. That sounds like the same thing. How about admin takeover? Let's check out this CVE here. Code execution under the right circumstances. This is also a Python exploit. Right, and good reminder there. This tool is for educational purposes only, not for illegal activity. All right, so CDing back to our Devvortex directory, we cloned that repo. Let's go in. Let's see if we might try running it or installing requirements first with pipx or pip3. Pip install tac r requirements, and okay, we got a few errors there with beautiful soup. This might be the same exploit as the other one. We'll try pip3. That seemed to work. Now let's run the exploit. Authentication bypass information leak. That sounds very good. That sounds like exactly what we need to do here. We want to bypass this login portal and get admin access so that we can take it a step further and send ourselves either a reverse shell, or maybe we can upload some kind of PHP pass-through shell so that we can gain remote code execution. And wow, that was really fast. We were able to get in there and grab admin credentials. Presumably these are admin credentials, Lewis, and then his password there. Let's go into guided mode on HackTheBox and see what questions they're asking us. Yep, so we found that subdomain with gobuster dev.devvortex.htb. What's the CMS running? We know that's Joomla. We don't know the version yet, though. It asks us, but we don't know. So let's see if we can log in with these creds. We'll first try going straight into SSH, since we know that's running on port 22. And do we have access? We do not. Or I got something wrong with the password. Let's just double check and triple check that. We'll try going into, without the dev subdomain, just the regular domain, and it also doesn't work. So presumably these credentials are not valid for SSH. But we do still have a login portal, so we can go over to that and try it. Double check our address. Looks correct. Yep, it all looks good. We'll try one more time, SSHing in as Lewis. Grab our password. And it doesn't work. Okay, no worries. Let's go to that Joomla portal and we'll try logging in with the credentials here. Oh yeah, we got access. So now we're looking around for anywhere that we can modify code so that we can add in a reverse shell callback that we can catch with a netcat listener on our machine. So we already pulled off the two main things that I wanted to demonstrate today. We did our subdomain enumeration and found this subdomain dev.devvortex.hackthebox, and then we identified a known vulnerability on the Joomla service, located an exploit, downloaded, and we tried a few before we found the correct one, and then we launched that and we're able to bypass authentication. So let's dig a little bit in here and see if we can find a space where we can modify the code. Here we got our Joomla version number and 3.5. It's not accepting it. So I'm probably looking in the wrong place. Since Joomla 3.5. So that's just a note. So it looks like a number.number.number. So I'm just trying a few combos just in case it was a formatting issue, but it doesn't seem to be. Let's look around in some other spots on this portal. I don't see any version numbers yet, but I'm still scanning here. Maybe it's in system. How about under update, maybe? System info. Here it is. Got the PHP version, Joomla version 4.2.6. Nice. Let's drop that into our guided questions section here. We got it. Next up, what's the CVE number from 2023? Let's go back to our exploit and check that. There it is, CVE 2023 23752. Okay, we'll drop that in. It needs the CVE prefix. Okay, next question. What is Lewis user's password? We have that. Yeah, let's just cut and paste. These are the creds that got us into the admin portal. What table in the database has additional creds? So if you read up on this exploit, you'll see that the credentials that it pulls are actually credentials for the MySQL database. So we can reuse these credentials again now and get into MySQL. But before we do that, we need to find a way to spawn a reverse shell so that we have command line access. Let's go over to revshells.com. We'll put in our listener IP. We're running a VPN to connect with HackTheBox, and it's on here. It looks like it's on our iNet 10.10.14.4, and we'll keep it at port 9001. I like the Pentest Monkey PHP reverse shell because I know it works. So let's use this one, and I'll just copy it in full, and I'm going to drop it in here on the index.php page. And we'll save that. So now when we navigate to the page, it should kick us a rev shell. Wait a minute. We have a big problem. We can't load that page anymore. So we just screwed up this lab, and I think the only way to get back to this is, yeah, we can't even load the login portal. So we've messed up royally. But because this is a capture the flag challenge, we can just go back and reset our box. So we'll do that now. We'll reset it so we can gain access again to the login portal. And next time we'll try tweaking a different page. Or instead of deleting the whole page, we'll just add our code in there, slip it in between some of the lines. So that way it won't cause our page to crash. That'll attract less attention, and also we won't have to reset anything. All right. This does happen sometimes in CTFs where you mess something up or someone else messes something up because you're often sharing a box with multiple CTF players. Here, I'm not sure if I'm sharing it. It looks like I'm not. I'm the only one. So it should fairly quickly allow me to reset. And then I'll have a blank slate to start with again. And this time our strategy will be to slip that payload into a different page, maybe the error page, for example. That might be a little bit safer than changing the index.php, which tends to be the landing page for a website. We can just use these creds. Presumably they are staying the same even after the reset. If we have any issues, we'll have to run that exploit again and check for the new creds. So here we are. Let's go into the portal and into System, Administrator Templates, Atom Details. And this time let's do the error.php. All right, we'll slip it in right here. Let's grab our Pentest Monkey PHP reverse shell again. And I won't include the PHP code at the beginning and the end because we already have that. So we can sandwich it in there. And now we should be able to load up this error page, at the path, the full path that it's giving above, editing file, administrator templates, atom error.php. We'll save that. Let's copy that path. And then we'll go ahead and bring up our netcat listener. Make sure it's queued up, ready to catch that rev shell. So let's go half screen on this, and we haven't started the listener yet, so let's do that. We'll cancel out, and we'll just do a netcat tac lnvp 9001, and let's line it up here so we can watch the magic. Yeah, we caught it. We just popped a shell here, and let's stabilize with the classic command python 3 tac-c import pty.spawn bin bash and end quote. And now we have close to a fully functioning shell, but let's do the magic trick here and stabilize further so that we get our TTY configuration imported. I think that's what we're doing. Export term equals xterm. Now we should have command completion and history with the up and down keys. This allows us to go into MySQL. If you don't stabilize first, you'll probably hit some difficulties and it may crash. It's giving us an access denied here. Okay, using password, no, but there is a password. So we have to add a tac-p in the password or just leave it blank so we can enter it in when it asks, when it prompts us for it. We are www-data. And we have our user.text. Here's our, oh, right, we can't read it because we're not Logan. So we need to find Logan's creds so we can do lateral movement over to his account. Just thinking about our next move here to get into the MySQL. No hidden files of interest there. History just goes back to when we started our session. We don't have www-data's password, so we can't check for sudo privs. We're running on a Linux box. Yep. 64-bit architecture. Okay. And here's the problem. We need to add a tac-p for password. And there we go. Now it's prompting us for the password. And we're in. We have connection. So let's show databases. And you always use a semicolon at the end of a MySQL command. Make sure I spell Joomla correctly. We'll use Joomla, show tables, and we're scanning for anything that would have credentials, so anything with password or user. Let's see what we have here. Assets, users, logs, that could have something. History. And there's one, the st4fg underscore users. Let's just dump that table and see what's in there. So we'll use, oh, no, it doesn't let us use it. These are tables, so we have to do something where we select star, selecting all data from the table, and dump it or print it to our screen. We're checking the help now to see about syntax to execute that. Interesting that you can execute a system command. Wonder if we could use that to gain access maybe for Privesc later. Okay, we're back at the prompt now. Let's do show tables. So from that table, select star. Oh yeah, we need the semicolon, error in the syntax. All right, I think I'm pretty close, but I don't access my SQL servers very often, so let's check our syntax by just Googling how to select all data from a table on MySQL. Select star from table name. Okay, so I had it reversed a little bit. Let's go back with the correct syntax now. Select star from, and we need that semicolon. Woo, there we go. We have creds here for Logan and for Lewis. We already have Lewis's password and it's hashed here. Let's see if we can decrypt this password string for Logan. So I just copied that string. So we'll echo the string into a new file called hash, and let's run John the Ripper, and we'll use this hash, and then we'll use the word list rocku for seeing if we can decrypt this password. And I'm running this command on a VM, so I'm not sure how fast it'll be. Let's see first, where's our rocku text located? And it's in a different folder. Let's move that file over to our current directory so we can keep our John command really short. And now we'll just do John hash rocku dot text. We might add the tac show. Okay. It is searching for the correct format. I don't know what format it is, so let's use hash ID. And we'll just copy and paste the hash. Enter. And so it's one of three things: a blowfish, VoltLab burning board, or a Decrypt. So we can try all three. Let's see if we can grep the blowfish, see if it lists it in there. It doesn't. Maybe the John TAC-H doesn't print out every single encryption type, though, or format type, like Hashcat does? It looks like it doesn't. All right, so we'll go to Google, and let's see John encryption types. And here we have a list, Bigcrypt. That sounds like bcrypt. That might be the same thing. Hash formats. And there's a list here, so we can do a find command and see if they're listed out here on this Pentest monkey page describing the different options for format. All right, and let's look first. There's a blowfish, OpenBSD, crypt, burning board, bcrypt. Okay, just searching around here. Bigcrypt. I'm tempted to try the Bigcrypt just because HashID mentioned a bcrypt as a possibility. Cool John the Ripper t-shirt there. Grab your swag. Only geeks will know what it means. Format equals bcrypt. Let's just try it. rocku.txt and hash. Might have the order reversed there. Yeah, I think I had the order wrong. We need the hash first, and then the rocku.txt or whatever word file, password file you're using. And no password hash is loaded. Maybe the order doesn't matter. Let's see, word list equals rocku. Okay, it's accepting the word list now. Oh, there we go. Hash show. Let's take away the format. Hash tac show still has 0 cracked. Let's see, what else can we do? Oh, I have the hash wrong. It, for some reason, when I did the echo command, it didn't get the whole string. So let's update that. So if you only get part of a hash in there, it's not going to be possible to decrypt. Okay, we have the whole string now. Let's go ahead and run that command again. Hash rocku, format equals bcrypt. Loaded 1 password hash. No password hash is left to crack. Now we need the tac show to see what the result was. And there we go. We got it. Te quiero mucho. And I looked that up. I love you very much. Probably a common password. Right? So we exited out of MySQL. Let's switch users now to Logan. And Te quiero mucho is our password. And we're in. We are Logan. So we can grab our user.text now. We just got our first flag. Let's drop that in. What table contained the hashed creds? That was SD4FG underscore users. Let's copy and paste that. And it looks like I previously submitted a flag, so we already got that one in there. Now we just have to find a way to Privesc to escalate our privileges up to the root user so that we can grab the final flag. And we'll say that was not too easy. It seemed a lot harder, more complex than easy boxes on tryhackme. Let's check our sudo privs with sudo tackl. And we'll grab our password again, te quiero mucho, right there. Nice. And there we have special sudo privs on this binary, apport tac CLI. So let's start Googling to see if we can find any known Privesc pathways using this binary with sudo privileges. So I'll just write exploit space and then that pathway, and two things pop up right away, a GitHub and the other one was, what was it, exploit DB? Yeah. Proof of concept. We're going in, we're running it, and I don't know, that looks a little bit too complex. Let's see about here. Proof of concept. And it says Logan here on the page, so whoever made the proof of concept was probably trying to solve this CTF. We can check our version number, and looks like we're running. See if we flip back to the page there. I think it wasn't the exact version, but very close. So our goal here is to run less and then break out of the restricted environment by spawning a bin bash shell. So the question is, how do we get into less through this apport tac CLI? And here's our answer. We run it with sudo with tac file tac bug, and then we get a menu of options and we navigate a little bit until we get to a place where we can inject our command with less to pop us out of the restricted environment and into a root shell, or with persistence as root to execute further commands. So we'll just run this with the tac, is it file tac bug or bug tac file tac bug? And we get the menu that it mentioned. We'll go with, I think it was option 1, display. Okay, and now we do, which option is it? Try 1, and it kicked us out, so it's not going to be 1 there. We'll do display again, and now let's try option 2. C also kicked us out. Do 1. And this time we'll do once it asks us, we'll try option 2. Do 1. It's thinking. So now we have to view the report, right, with V. And that's when it kicks us into less. So we can issue the bin bash shell now. We have to add that exclamation to override permissions. And now we are root. So we just got our root flag. Let's copy and paste that into our final slot here. And I think I already did that, so we'll just rate it as a medium, we'll say. And the final question here is, what is the CVE ID? So let's just go back and grab that. Was it this one? 1326. Privesc vulnerability. It should be (2023) 1326 with underscores, or actually with tax between the spaces. All right, so that is the end of this box. Yes, we pwned the box, and I hope you enjoyed today's walkthrough of Devvortex. I certainly did, and I hope you picked up on the two key skills that I demonstrated today: researching known vulnerabilities on a service, identifying an exploit, and running that exploit. And the other one was subdomain enumeration, a way that you can scan a domain name for additional subdomains running on the same server. We used GoBuster to complete that second goal, and that brings us to the end of the box. So if you haven't had a chance to join the CTF walkthroughs Discord server, I'll put a link down below in the description. Make sure you hop onto the server so you can follow all of the latest and greatest in pen testing and ethical hacking and CTF challenges right there on the Discord, and you can engage with other users about pen testing tools, certification pathways, career discussions, job postings, etc. So I hope to see you there. Until next time, take it easy. Bye.